Have you ever looked up at the night sky, filled with countless stars, and wondered, where did it all begin? Imagine a time when there was no earth beneath our feet, no sun to warm us, no birds singing in the trees, no rivers flowing, no flowers blooming, only darkness, only emptiness, a silent void. And then out of nothing there was a voice that carried power, authority, and unimaginable creativity, a voice that broke the silence of the universe. Let there be light. This is not the beginning of a fairy tale. This is the beginning of everything, the beginning of the world as we know it, recorded in one of the oldest and most powerful books in history, the Bible, specifically in the very first book, Genesis, or in Vietnamese, Sang Thang. And at the center of this story, not kings, not heroes, not warriors, but God Himself, the Creator. And then, to very ordinary human beings who would play an extraordinary role in shaping the destiny of mankind, Adam and Eve. Before we dive into their choices, their struggles, and their story, let's set the stage. The ancient Hebrew people, thousands of years ago, passed down these words from generation to generation. For them, this wasn't just a story. It was their origin, their explanation for the heavens above, the land beneath, and the human heart that beats inside every one of us. And so, as we step into this ancient narrative, I want you to picture it not as dry text, but as if you were standing right there. Imagine you are watching it unfold like a breathtaking film. The universe is about to be born before your very eyes. So let's begin. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth, the first, was formless and empty. Darkness covered everything. But then God said, "Let there be light." And light appeared, for the very first time. Day and night existed. Think about that for a moment. The rhythm of sunrise and sunset, something so normal to us, began with a single word from God. On the second day, He formed the sky and expanse to separate the waters above from the waters below. Imagine the swirling chaos of waters, and suddenly, the blue dome of sky spreading wide and clear. On the third day, land rose from the waters, and with it came grass, trees, and plants of every kind. Can you hear the rustle of leaves for the very first time? Can you see the first flower blooming, its colors bursting into existence? On the fourth day, God placed the sun to rule the day, the moon to rule the night, and stars, millions of them, to sparkle across the heavens, each one unique, each one placed by His hand. Have you ever wondered when you look at the stars how many He set in place that very moment? On the fifth day, the seas came alive, whales leaping, fish darting, colorful creatures filling the waters, and above, the skies fluttered with birds, majestic eagles, tiny sparrows, all soaring through the air for the very first time. On the sixth day, the land teemed with life, lions roaring, elephants trumpeting, sheep grazing. Every creature, from the smallest insect to the largest beast, was created in perfect harmony. But then, something even greater happened. God bent down, forming man from the dust of the earth. With His own breath, He breathed life into him, and Adam opened his eyes. He was alive not just as another creature, but as someone who could think, feel, love, and choose. Can you imagine Adam's first breath? The first time his eyes opened to see the beauty of creation all around him? The warm light of the sun, the sound of rivers, the smell of the earth. And yet, God saw something missing. Adam was alone. So God caused Adam to fall into a deep sleep. From his side, He crafted another being, beautiful, equal, complementary. When Adam woke, he saw her, and he said, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh." She was named Eve. Together, Adam and Eve lived in the Garden of Eden, a paradise unlike anything we can imagine. Rivers flowed with crystal water. Trees bore fruit in abundance. Every creature lived in peace. And best of all, Adam and Eve walked with God Himself. But here's the question. In the middle of that perfect paradise, why did God place one tree, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and forbid them to eat from it? Was it a test? Was it a chance for them to show their love through obedience? The story doesn't say why directly, but it sets the stage for one of the greatest turning points in human history. Because you see, real freedom always involves a choice. Without the possibility to choose, there is no love, only control. God gave Adam and Eve the gift of choice, and soon, they would face a decision that would change the course of humanity forever. The Garden of Eden was perfect. Adam and Eve had everything they could possibly need: beauty, abundance, love, even the very presence of God. And yet, in the shadows of that paradise, a question lingered. A question tied to that one forbidden tree. Why place such a tree in the garden? Why give Adam and Eve the chance to fail? As the story goes on, a cunning serpent will enter the scene. A whisper of doubt will slither into their minds, and the harmony of Eden will be shaken. But here's the twist. At this moment in the story, Adam and Eve are still innocent. They know no shame, no fear, no guilt. They are free to walk in joy, unburdened by sin. Can you picture that? A world untouched by pain. The real drama hasn't yet begun. Their first choice, whether to listen to God or to the serpent, will mark the difference between paradise kept or paradise lost. So here's my question for you. If you were Adam or Eve, standing in that perfect garden with one rule to follow, what would you have done? Would you have trusted the Creator completely? Or would curiosity have pulled you toward that forbidden fruit? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective. And don't forget, this is just the beginning of the story. What happens next will change everything. The serpent's words, the fruit, the fall. Was it simply a punishment? Or was it the beginning of a greater plan, a plan of redemption and hope? The answer may surprise you, and it's something we'll uncover in the next episode. So, if you want to journey with us further into the story of Adam and Eve, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned. Because the story of the first humans is not just their story, it's ours too.